What's going on, everybody? We're back. It's been a weird weekend, and probably most of us did more Netflix binging than we're supposed to.
Super weird.
Yeah, so we wanted to put a little ground-based movement session out to you guys so you can start moving your body, getting the spine moving a little bit more. I know my back feels like it's kind of stuck in one spot. So
my hips are tight.
So we all feel kind of the same way physically. This will take about 10-12 minutes. You can set a minute timer and do each of the movements for a minute each, or you can kind of take 20-30 minutes and just kind of explore moving around on the ground. So we're going to start with moving our head. I highly suggest we all take a couple minutes to do some breathing, but I think you guys have watched us lay in place and breathe enough, so just remember to kind of start every one of your movement sessions with a minute or two of deep belly breathing, get your diaphragm on, get all those deep core muscles on so that you can move a little better and you get more benefit from it. So
there's a video out there that we did on breathing, so no excuse to not be doing it or not know how to do it. Go back into our members page, and I have put all of our videos there. You guys also should have emails. If you haven't been able to open it, check your spam email.
Yeah, and let us know, and we can send you the links to that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to show, for the first 4 or 5 movements, we're each going to show a different variation of it. So Madi's going to do her head nods in the back, or head movement in the back of rocking. I'm going to get into a straddle position and do some head movement here. Now, again, we want to remember when we're doing our head movements that our eyes should lead our head and our head should lead our body. So there should be a little bit of spine movement when you're doing this. But take a minute and just explore. So you can do one nod, one turn, maybe you slide back and forth. If you're in this straddle position, you turn your shoulders a little bit, kind of just explore, but focus on your eyes leading your head and your head leading your body, and then add some breathing in here and there so that you can get a little bit of extra range of motion. But just remember to stay out of pain and make sure you're staying within your limitations. You can basically find whatever feels good for you. Oh, that feels good. And then go from there. So that's about a minute. Now we're going to move over to some rolling variations. Madi's going to do baby rolls, and I'm going to do one that we haven't shown you yet, and it's called a rocking chair roll. So Madi's going to lay on her back, grab her knees, eyes lead head, head leads body. She's going to turn the direction she wants to go, and then slowly move her body. What I'm going to do is stay seated in an upright position. I'm going to gently grab my shins, and then I'm going to look up, roll my body back, and then look down and roll my body forward. Now this rocking chair roll feels really, really good. It's kind of like foam rolling your back muscles, but what you want to prevent is kind of keeping a very stiff, rigid spine and plopping down. So you're trying to get a little momentum and keep your body moving through that roll. And if you look, it kind of looks like we're on a rocking chair, which is why they're called rocking chair rolls. So we're going to do those for about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even a little longer if it feels really good. With the rocking chair roll, just make sure you're on a soft surface if you haven't done it before. I can do them on hardwood floors and it doesn't hurt, but I've just got enough practice. Work your way to harder surfaces, start on something that's soft and has a little bit of forgiveness if you do end up kind of hitting the ground a little harder. Then Madi's going to rotate over into her windshield wipers, so she'll still be on her back. She's just going to open up her arms. I'm going to do upper body half rolls. So I'm going to lay on my back. I'm going to pretend like from my belly button down, I can't move. I'm going to bring my arms overhead or anywhere where they're comfortably resting on the ground. I'm going to look the direction I want to go, and then I'm going to reach across my body like trying to touch something on the wall or trying to reach for the camera. And then I'm going to come back down. Then I'm going to look the other way. And I'm just slowly going to go back and forth, going as far as I can without feeling my legs get tight and without losing my breathing. These are a good way to activate the front core muscles and to get a little rotation out of your upper back. Make sure to keep your breathing and only go where your body tells you it wants to go. Okay? Now from there, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. Okay. and we're gonna do rocking. Mari's gonna show you rocking with her toes pulled underneath, and I'm gonna show you rocking with my toes flattened down. So we're gonna keep our eyes on the horizon, and we're gonna rock back and forth as far forward as you can without any pain in your wrist, making sure you keep your elbows locked out. But really, if you just gently push into the ground and keep your head up, most of the stuff is gonna happen on its own. You can adjust your heel position, you can turn your heels out, you can turn your heels in, play around and explore. Just make sure that your knees are okay with the movement when you do adjust your foot position, so that you're not going somewhere where your knee says, I don't wanna go. Okay? Make sure to keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Nice, slow, deep breaths in and out, pulling air real deep into the tummy. Use that diaphragm, get it to wake up, and it helps your whole nervous system feel better. All right, so next variation of rocking, Mari's gonna drop down onto her forearms and do commando rocking, and I'm gonna do rocking with hip extension. So what we talked about is we've been doing a lot of sitting, so I'm gonna start to open my hips up a little bit. So I'm gonna sit back, then use my glute muscles, come up and really flatten out my hips, but without arching my spine. So I'm gonna sit back into my heels, rock forward, rock back, and come up.
Let's not forget about.
No, yes, I saw it. We skipped one, right? But we don't want to skip that one because that was kind of one of the main reasons we wanted to do this video. So
We both need it. We're just saying how tight we were.
So we're gonna do a few more of these. And then we're gonna get into a nice quadruped position. So I want my knees underneath my hips, my hands underneath my shoulders, and then we're gonna go into some cat-cows. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna really do like, it's essentially like an exaggerated head nod, right? Somebody come up onto your hands. So I'm gonna look down with my eyes, and then I'm gonna round my spine slowly. And then I'm gonna look up with my eyes, and then slowly arch my back as much as I can. And what we're looking for, and what we're really trying to go for, is for each vertebrae to kind of move at its own pace, right? So you're trying to break open your spine and basically move one vertebrae at a time. You want to think about maybe even tucking your tail underneath when you're looking down, so that you can roll your hips under and kind of get a little bit of relief of those lumbar spine that sometimes get stuck in place while we're doing a lot of sitting. And make sure you add some breathing here and there, kind of coax your body into getting a little bit more range of motion. Okay, those feel fantastic actually. So next thing we're going to do are called shin boxes. So we're going to sit up with our feet out in front of us. I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to put my knee down. Then I'm going to take my right leg and I'm going to put the inside of my knee down. And this position here creates like a 90-degree angle, and they're called shin boxes. So this is your shin box position. We may make a video later on to kind of get you guys in this position a little bit more effectively, but right now, try to mirror this the best you can. All I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my eyes to the right, turn my head to the right, then I'm going to turn my body, but look, I'm going to turn my head so I can try to see the camera. Turn my eyes to the left, my head to the left, and go the other way. You can use your hands, or you can not use your hands. It's kind of dependent up to you, but the goal here is to not move your feet that much. So if you notice, as I'm moving, I'm not straightening and then bending my legs. I'm just rotating from my hip sockets on the ground. Okay? Good way to loosen up the hips. Use your hands though if you've never done them. You still get all the benefit of it. As you get stronger and more kind of comfortable in this position, then you can sit yourself a little bit upright. If you end up feeling lots of tension in these outside hip muscles, that's kind of normal. Internal rotation is not a position we put our hips in a lot. So this will start to kind of cramp sometimes. You just get out of it, shake it off, and then go back into it, and you'll get used to it. Okay, from here, now we're going to shift into our dead bugs. So we've loosened up our spine, we've loosened up our hips, we've got our neck opened up. We're going to add a little bit of stability to our middle so that all of this wonderful movement that we created kind of lasts a little longer. So we can do all of our dead bug variations, but just remember to breathe. So we should have our tailbone a little bit off the ground, arms up, straight in the air, neck should be comfortably relaxed on the ground. I'm going to bring my left hand down to the ground, right leg down on the ground. You can either stay static or you can bring your arm overhead, kind of just up to you. Basically, play around, explore. Just make sure that you're moving opposite arm and leg. Okay? If any of you notice on that last rep, I didn't move opposite arm and leg. It kind of just went everywhere. So,
I got confused.
so just explore. Really, what it comes down to is spending a lot of time on the ground, not on the couch, not on the bed, not in our like lazy boy chairs, but getting down on the ground and moving a little bit. It's going to help you kind of build some familiarity with your body, get used to moving in some weird ways, but that will help you feel better throughout the rest of your day. Okay, so from our dead bug, we're going to come back up onto our knees, and we're going to do bird dog variations. So we can either go arm forward as a traditional bird dog, or we can go arm back, which is also called a speed skater. Again, play around with it. If you find that bird dogs are really easy and you want to make them a little more challenging, pull your feet off the ground and try to do your bird dog, and then you'll feel like you've never done a bird dog before, because it gets really, really, really challenging from a stability standpoint. Oh, there it is. Got it. So play around with them. Make sure that you're breathing. Make sure that you're extending your body out, trying to lengthen the distance between the tips of your fingers and your heel, and you're not trying to lift your limbs up into the air and arch your back. So we want to add some stability to our spine. So we want to keep it pretty stable and motionless, and let our ball and socket joints, our shoulders and our hips do the moving. From there, we are going to go to cross crawls. So we'll kind of show you the progressions here. Monty's going to be on her back or standing. She'll be standing. I'll do on the back one. So she'll do her cross crawls standing. I'll start on my back to kind of show you guys the variations. So we'll go on the back, and then I can even come up into a seated position, and then come up. These actually are really hard. Onto your knee, and then work my way up into standing. Okay, so that takes us from head movement to rolling variations, rocking variations, a little bit of spine and hip circular movements in the cat-cow and the shin boxes. We then add some core stability through the dead bugs and the bird dogs, and we finish off with some brain food for our body, doing those cross crawls, which also wake up our hip flexors and make it a little easier to lift our foot while we're rocking. So it's a really important exercise that anybody can do. I hope that helps you guys, and just remember that we're here for you, so if you need anything, please reach out.
Bye.